Hi, everyone. So my name is Ben Phillips. I'm the head of e-commerce at Drake's. We're a luxury menswear brand based on Savile Row in London. We also have stores in New York and in Seoul. And then I just wanted to say thanks for coming along to hear our take on growing a mid-market fashion brand. I'm joined by some amazing peers, but more importantly, really good friends from some incredible UK brands. We've known each other for many, many years, and it's a privilege to share the stage with each other. I'm going to pass along to do some intros. Matt?
Shed a tear, mate. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Matt Brown, Universal Works. I'm head of ecom, CRM. I'm buying a merch for my sins. We're a contemporary clothing brand, 3 UK stores, 400 stockists worldwide. Passing the mic.
I'm Alex Chisholm. I work at YMC. Stands for You Must Create. We're a British brand, independent British brand. We've been around since 1996. We've got 2 stores in London and a whole number of wholesale stores and on youmuscreate.com.
Hey, I'm Al, head of ecom at Percival Menswear. We've been around for about 10 years. We've got 2 London stores, maybe about to be a couple more. Nodding. We're probably the youngest brand here, so no pressure.
Okay, so e-commerce is an ever-changing industry with new tech and ideas bubbling to the surface all the time. So outside of individual research, pitches from companies, what other ways do you stay ahead of the curve and well-informed? I'll go to Matt first.
I've lost count of how many newsletters I'm subscribed to, how many people I follow on LinkedIn. Like, it's overwhelming at times. I think, Alex, you said before, there's more solutions than there are problems out there, and there's just... So I think I invariably fall back to 3 main ones. So there's a couple of WhatsApp groups. First and foremost, the Knights, which feels
so I'm going to just explain to the room. So we created a small WhatsApp group with a ridiculous title called Knights of the ROAS Table, which we're quite proud of. And it started off pretty much like us 4 and a couple of others. Tom, who's down the front there, he was an earlier adopter of the group as well. And it's actually grown quite considerably. There's, I think, maybe 20 odd people?
No, we kind of show of hands for
hands of anyone in the group.
Knights at?
Look at that. Yeah, that's good. And also it tells us which ones aren't here, so then we can feed that back. It's been a valuable resource for us. So.
Yeah, so I think it's there's 3 WhatsApp groups that have been amazing. So the Knights is one. Future Commerce, I think if Jamie's in the room, that's really great. And the digital leaders community has been a great resource. There's a lot of smart people in those groups. IMRG events, I've always found really useful, and the data, the benchmarking data that they share is really good. And then events like today, Vavon and Novos have a Slack channel as well, which again, everyone's just really open and sharing and answers the questions. And I think that's the main bit, right? None of us are natural networkers. We're all probably quite shy in our own little ways, but having groups like that, I think you can, if you've got a problem, whether it's trade on a Monday, if you've had a tough month, you can be like, how was trade for everyone last week? And everyone comes back with feeling the same.
It's a safe space as well.
Yeah.
You can ask a question and, not feel like judged too much.
Yeah, it's opened up you answer a ton of questions, you can get benchmarking information, you can get reassurance. And when you've got that sort of trusted peer group, for want of a better phrase, you can get the ideas for other products. So I met Ben. The whole thing started because we were talking to Clayvu, and Clayvu said, we can introduce you to a client who is also in fashion. That brand was Goodhood, who was a stockist of Universal Works. So I chatted to Ben. Ben was amazing, gave his time. I think we chatted for an hour. From that, we chatted about a few more things. Ben introduced us to Swap, which was like we were early adopters for Swap for returns. And then we started to meet at events. and it was an IMRG event, I think, that the Knights were born.
This is true.
And the rest is history.
And now we're looking to get merch done as well. So that's a really good answer. Thanks, Matt. And I wanted to pass to Al at the end there to see his take on it.
Yeah, very much in the same vein as Matt. It is very overwhelming, like everyone in sort of every role right now. But in e-com, it can feel quite siloed, I guess, because there's so much out there and so many different options, so many different platforms. What was the line? More solutions and problems. I guess.
Yeah, so good, so true.
It feels like that, and there are a lot of great solutions out there. But I guess that a couple of years ago, I was just went to a networking event, and networking really sounds like an old dusty word that people are just you always get a bit of an eye roll. But honestly, the events in London and e-com and everything have really helped over the past couple of years. You can really meet others that are going through the same challenges. Even though we work for brands that vary in age, we all seem to be coming up against the same issues of obviously
Absolutely.
the current sort of digital climate in that sense. But yeah, and then I've been a part of the Vivant Slack group. That was great. And then that was when I was like, oh, maybe I should go to some of these events and meet some of these people. And then we started our little night. I actually tasked Ben to come up with the name. And it's an e-com group, and he came up with Knights of the ROAS table.
I know, but it's good.
We don't care about ROAS. Not that much anyway.
POAS.
We're probably the four brands that care the least about ROAS.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, groups like that are just essential. Like Matt said, you come out of Monday trade, and you're a bit like, I meant to know what I'm doing with this particular problem. I don't. You put it in there. It's kind of like a, no judgment.
Yeah.
I think.
We've got to the point where my MD actually says to me, "Can you ask the group?"
Same.
Which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, networking for me definitely doesn't come naturally. I'm not very good on LinkedIn. I don't regularly attend industry events. So yeah, filtering out all of that noise through the WhatsApp group, I think is really important. You can spend endless hours crunching the numbers, going through different case studies, trying to find a solution that's right for your brand. But sometimes just having an informal conversation with one of these guys and getting, a real insight from a brand that is in our space, I think that's really healthy. And obviously, it saves us a lot of time because I trust these guys and I trust their opinions. And I also don't want to waste a ton of hours testing or having sales calls. And, it's really invaluable, I think.
Yeah, the hive mind.
Yeah, nice. So you're all at brands that have become true staples in the UK menswear circle. How do you tread that fine line of brand versus commerciality? I'm going to go to Alex on this one to start.
Yeah. So for us at YMC, the brand bit is definitely key. So I think ultimately for brands like ours, the long-term success is driven not just by the product, but by the desirability. So I think being understated and cool is important to brands like ours. We want to build long-term desirability and lifetime value without having to push it too hard. So there's always a fine balance. So brand awareness and positioning right now, I would say, is the biggest focus for us right now. We're in an exciting period, lots of evolution within the brand. We've got a new creative director, new design direction, a rebrand, new website. So there's lots of exciting commercial opportunities for us right now. But we've also been around for a long time. So there's, we've got to stay true to our original DNA. And that's an exciting challenge for everyone at the brand. And yeah, we're in a solid position now. We've recently moved our ERP, our warehouse. We've done multiple replatforms, and we're now in a position of, we really want to try and kick on. But yeah, so being cool is definitely very important for brands like ours, but also, you have to balance that. So, I've often gone into meetings and, someone pulls, someone in the art direction team will pull out an image that's really cool for an ad, and you look at it and you say, well, that's not going to sell any of the product. So, bridging that gap, I think, is something that is really important.
Great, thank you. And yeah, Matt, what's your take on this one?
It's the same, right? We're all very much brand first. We're, I guess, a little bit different where we're founder owned and led. We've got zero debt, there's no investors, so none of those pressures are there, right? So that gives a lot of freedom that I guess a lot of people don't have. We don't have to chase targets. I've worked in like VC-backed businesses, I've worked in PLCs, I've worked in startups looking to do a quick exit, and it's like night and day. It's so stark. I think, yes, it comes with more freedom. We can take risks that others don't, and we don't have to take other risks that perhaps people need to. Sometimes we end up being too safe. It's all about protecting the brand. Is that good for the brand? Is that brand damaging? We think a lot about our stockists. Probably, no, I'm not going to say too much. It's stockists first, right? We want them to have a successful business with our product. So as the head of the e-com channel, sometimes you're like, it's holding you back a little bit. But if they have a successful business, what's really unique, it feels to us, is that good word of mouth from like really great stockists and really trusted independent brands blazes a trail for us, right? So we get traction in territories where we don't spend a penny, but there's just great goodwill because we've supported stockists. We don't compete with them. In fact, we go out of our way not to. And again, you don't get that everywhere. And it's about cherishing and protecting the brand, and that's what got us to where we are, great independent stockists.
That's great. And Al, what about at Percival?
Yeah, no, it's interesting actually, because I'd say it's like, we're like the most contrast to that in a way. We've gone through a lot of growth over the past four years or so. We are investment backed, so we do have to take those risks that Matt was just saying. So they are fun. Not all of them pay off, but a lot of them do.
They're a talking point sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Which is good in itself.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the magic of it, and that's, we are young. We got to get our elbows in, and we got to cut through. So I'm a part of the commercial team, like at Percival, and obviously we need to make sure, like you were saying, Alex, is that image going to make us some money, and try and rein them in at times. But you can't tip too far one way. You can't be just sort of deadly commercial, because that's just going to be boring. Might make loads of money, but who wants that? And then obviously you've got the, you can't be too brand-led either. So yeah, it's interesting, and it's difficult to balance, especially whilst we've got that sort of rapid growth targets. I'm sure eventually it does stabilise, but yeah, we've got to go for it, and we kind of got to make sure we balance and agree. But we're a small team, we all work in the same room, and we're exposed to what each other do, so I feel like there's a good understanding. But yeah, we pull it off.
Great, thank you. The brands we all work for have been very lucky to partner with some third parties to create amazing collaborations. Why would collaborations be so important to you as individuals in brands, and the benefits of working with others that are outside of the brands you work with? So I'm going to go straight to Al at the end to start, because Percival have done a few collaborations recently.
Love
right?
a collab.
Yeah, we did love a collab in 22, if you were on the mailing list. But no, again, super essential in our growth. Very strategic hires from the team back then to how do you grow in rapidly like we needed to, and the collaborations was just a great way to do that whilst we perfected and grew our core range. So obviously a collaboration is acquisition. You're acquiring a like-minded customer, exposing your brand. We did some pretty, we kicked off our Champion collaboration, which now we do like twice a year, and that's almost feels like a part of our core range, which is great. Obviously that just gets such good cut through on like paid, because you have the trusted brand of Champion, and then people are exposed to Percival. We did one with Campari as well, which we definitely bet on it, but it was a lot bigger than we thought, which was great. So that was really interesting. That obviously had a great cut through in the EU as well.
Did you get free booze?
Huh?
Did you get any free booze?
Yeah, we got magnums of Campari. Like, actually, how much is a magnum? I think it was bigger than a magnum.
Do you know what? That Campari night was the night I decided to never drink again. And I haven't had a drink for 2 years.
Oh, wait, it was the night the Queen died?
It was the night the Queen died.
Oh, wow.
Sorry, man.
No, the Queen died, and I had too much Campari, and I've never had a drink since. So
Yeah, we had to call the party off, and in the shop, we just had these giant, they were almost too big, bottles of Campari, and we were like, Queen's dead. Let's drink the Campari.
To the
yeah.
Queen.
So that kind of makes sense now.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And do you find like with the those collaborations, it kind of opens up new markets, like new channels, new categories even?
Yeah, exactly. So at the moment we're really pushing our sort of shoe category. We just did a great collaboration with Kleemans, and you learn a lot as well from who you collaborate with, and you get to really flex your creativity as well. It's like you never kind of want to do a safe collaboration, I guess. We've learnt that the hard way, but yeah, been super vital to our growth for sure.
Nice. And moving over to Alex, who've also done some great collabs recently as well.
Yeah, they're really valuable for YMC. Yeah, we've had a few great ones recently. We did Lavenham, we did Barber. That was actually Barber was last year, but that was a really great.
That was
one for
amazing.
us.
The Barber one was great.
Yeah. We did Merrill and then also Grenson recently. So yeah, I find they're great tools for testing our audience, and then also connecting with new audiences, new markets, and also experimenting with price points. Our Grenson shoe, which we were very cautious with our initial buy because it was the first time that we'd ever had a shoe around the £500 price point, so we were quite scared by that. But it sold out. Yeah, unbelievable reaction that we had to the shoe. So yeah, it proved the theory that we can sell a shoe at £500. And yeah, so it was also great. We were blown away with the reception of it just on socials. And all the extra followers that we gained and traffic from it, it was really fantastic. But I do think that, without a doubt, product has to come first, because there's a lot of collaborations out there, and just putting two logos together sometimes, consumers these days are very savvy.
I was going to say, like, I always think of it as like a Venn diagram, and if the two circles are like, I know, surprised I even knew what that was, and you moved it. If you imagine the circles are like fully overlapped together, then why are you collabing? Because you're doing the same thing together. But if you're tiny little maybe bit in the middle where you meet and there's an opportunity for both sides to reap the benefits, I think it feels like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think the product needs to push the needle, because otherwise, I think our consumers, they know what's around. There's lots of collaborations on the market. So yeah, they have to do something interesting.
Wicked. And yeah, Matt, Universal Works, again, a couple of really great collabs recently.
Well, yeah, it feels like it got a bit competitive there, so I have to drop some big names now. Power Boot, Autumn Winter 25,
nice.
Save Your Pennies.
Nice.
Yeah,
Exclusive.
We love... yeah, I hope I'm allowed to say that. Josh, am I allowed to say that? It's out, right? It's been at trade shows. Yeah, we love a collab for so many reasons. The design team, it's like the boy said, right? Design love it because you can be more experimental, you can trial with different fabrics, you can push the price points, you can be innovative. For us, it doesn't have to be a commercial success. Whilst everything Alex said makes sense, it doesn't have to be a commercial success. For us, a collab does a different job. It captures all those eyeballs, right? It's a great engagement piece. It opens up those new territories. Adidas, Birkenstock, right? We have no right collaborating with those guys. We will never be a tenth of the size of those brands. But it instantly gives you that kudos if you've partnered with those guys. So that's really helped us. And then content, it breaks up a season. So we don't constantly have an intake of stock. We have a drop at the start of the season, and that we've got to trade that for 5-6 months. So a collab breaks that up, gives us something new to talk about, great content, lead gen opportunities, newsletter content, front-end takeovers. We can all flex our creative muscle. And again, you've got that freedom, which is super nice.
No, that's great. And I'm just looking at the time. That is
that
absolutely
went
bang on.
fast.
So that's it. I think we've done 20 minutes, but
Let's keep going.
should we keep going? We can keep going if you want.
Thanks, folks.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Hours of material.